This is a reading for Chapter 3, Section 1 for the summary for 7th grade social studies. Section 1 Summary. In this section, you will learn that the United States Constitution sets forth a new form of government for the nation. Citizens played a greater role in this new government, and they established guidelines for a careful distribution of power. Here are some terms to remember. Term 1, popular sovereignty. Government by consent of the governed. Preamble, the beginning of the United States Constitution, which talks about its purposes. Limited government, a system in which government powers are carefully spelled out to prevent government from being too powerful. Majority rule, a system in which the decision of more than half of the people is accepted by all. Delegated powers, powers given to the federal government by the Constitution. Reserved powers, powers set aside by the U.S. Constitution for the states or the people. Concurrent powers, powers shared by the federal government and the states. Section 1, Ideals of the Constitution. Even before the Pilgrims reached the shores of the New World, they realized the need for some form of government. In 1620, they wrote and signed a document called the Mayflower Compact. This agreement showed that the citizens of the new colony willingly agreed to be ruled by a government of their own design. This was a new method of government. At that time, most leaders ruled their countries or regions without the consent of their citizens. After the Articles of Confederation failed to provide a strong enough central government, Americans understood they needed a new system of government. The framers of the Constitution copied many of the ideas in the Mayflower Compact as they created the government of the USA. The preamble or introduction to the Constitution shows direct similarities to the Mayflower Compact. In particular, the opening words, "We the people," show that the framers based the new U.S. government on the idea of popular sovereignty. This means that the citizens gave their leaders permission to govern. 3 basic principles in the Constitution help to guide the area of popular sovereignty: limited government, majority rule with minority rights, and protection of individual rights. The restrictions of limited government keep rulers from having too much power. It limits them. In a system of majority rule, the citizens agree to accept decisions that are approved by most of the people. But the Constitution also provides ways in which the minority, or smaller number of the population, can express its views and be protected. In this way, the framers made sure that each individual citizen has the same rights and freedoms as all other citizens. The framers of the Constitution placed the top layer of government's power at the federal or national level. The authority given specifically to the federal government is also called delegated powers. To prevent the federal government from becoming too powerful, the framers created a second level of government, the state governments. The powers given to the United States are called reserved powers because they are separate and protected from federal powers. However, federal and state governments sometimes work together on an issue, like raising taxes. In these instances, the federal and state governments share concurrent powers. This concludes the reading. Make sure you go back and complete the social studies skills activity, and make sure you complete the reading check as well.